Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. So this is going to be a long ass reaction because the video itself is so long. It's like I'm going to be watching a movie right now. So this is an interview that BR did with the writer and cinematographer Bahul Ramesh. So he is the brains behind, writing the story of Kishkinda Kandam, Kerala Crime Files, and Echo. So Echo is a film that recently released and got really, really great reviews from the critics as well as audiences. So what I've been told is that there are not much spoilers here in Echo. Like once, if I watch it in the OTT, it's not gonna get fully spoiled in this interview. And I really want to watch this because there are not many, not many interviews that happen with the writers, and writers are such an integral part of the filmmaking because if you don't have good writers, then you don't get a good story. So let's see what revelations we get in this particular interview from a writer's perspective. So that's very, very important. I feel that we see a lot of interviews where we see the producer's perspective, the actor and the director's perspective, but hardly the writer's perspective. So this is great. So yeah, let's not delay this any further because it's gonna be a very, very long reaction. I might divide it into two parts. Let's see, but let's watch this right away.
Hello, Bahul Ramesh. Welcome to Galata Plus. Very happy to have you.
Hi, sir. Pleasure.
You're the writer that everybody's talking about. First, we discovered you in Kishkinda Kandam, and then there was Kerala Crime Files, and now Echo. So, you started writing short stories.
Okay.
What were those stories like? Were there mystery stories or general stories?
General stories.
Okay.
Because I didn't write it for time pass, the short stories. I wrote it only for competitions.
Okay.
So, was always trying to impress the judges to show off our intellects and all. So, that was the short story writing process.
Like, can you give me an example of a short story that you wrote? Like, just a brief outline.
Don't remember the exact story, but something about a novel writer or something. Some matured characters, all of them were above 50s.
Okay.
And when I wrote this, I was only 12 or 13.
Oh, okay, okay.
Interesting.
I don't remember the context of the story, but that was how I tried to impress the judges.
Okay.
Yeah.
But did you watch a lot of movies while you were growing up?
A lot.
Lot.
In TV.
On TV?
Not world movies. I mean, I'm not that much exposed to world movies then and even now also. So I used to watch regional movies.
Okay.
Malayalam, all of the Malayalam movies
Malayalam.
and Tamil movies on TV, KTV.
Okay. So, when you watch the movie, would you like watch it as a whole, like an audience, or after a point did
The
you start
writing
to
part.
notice the writing or something like that, the direction or the acting or something specific?
I don't remember it that way. I just enjoy it as an audience.
Okay.
Yeah. And the passion for cinema, it came much later when I was studying in 8th or 9th.
Okay.
That was the time when I decided to go into cinema.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
In eighth
quite
standard.
early.
8th or 9th, somewhere around in high school.
People don't even
And
know
then
what
you
they
knew
want to
that you were
do
going
in
to
high
be in cinema.
school.
No, I wasn't confident, but that was my
The passion was
I wish
brewing.
to get there
Okay.
in writing or direction, but I didn't know how. I didn't have any contacts also, but I
Okay.
decided.
But something makes us say, I will be good at this thing, right? What made you say that I think I will be a good writer? What gave you that belief or confidence?
I think the way my parents supported me. I was
Okay.
never confident about what I could do or I can do this in a good way. I never thought it that way. I always used to follow my intuitions. And one random moment I would say to my parents, I want to do this, I want to try this. They will say, okay, go ahead. So I wasn't having any performance pressure or something.
That's
Okay.
actually
Okay,
very
even if it
sweet.
didn't work out, okay, I will change the route and try something else,
Go into
pursue something else.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like that.
So, in your opinion, what is a good screenplay? I'll give you a context. The year Kishkinda Kandam was released, Manumal Boys won for Best Screenplay at the Kerala State Awards. And Dinjit kind of was a little open about the fact that he felt Kishkinda Kandam, he said there's no problem with Manyamal Boys, but I would have liked it if Kishkinda Kandam had won. What do you think? Have you asked him why he said that?
No, I haven't asked.
You haven't asked him.
Yeah.
Okay, but what do you think is a good screenplay?
I can generalize that,
Generalize,
but
yeah.
my opinion about like generic ஆவாது இருந்தா எனக்கு கொஞ்சம் பெட்டரா பிடிக்கும்.
Ah,
So I'm not that much impressed with generic template-ish screenplays.
Okay.
With generic dialogues and all.
okay,
So that's even if a movie is so slow, I won't get bored.
okay.
But if a movie is so generic in terms of scene staging, scene placement, scene
Okay.
orders, or even dialogues, that's a big turn off for me. That always has to be a big turn off for me.
Okay.
So my preference of a good script is like it shouldn't be generic.
Okay.
It should offer
A
something
good
different.
script is something.
And that idea of that generic, the term generic came from you actually. There are two reviews which I admire a lot. One is you and one is Ashwin Bharadwaj, Critic Lensman. So 10 or 12 years back when I started reading the reviews, the film critic reviews and all, and you both were I frequently used to check your reviews, and in most of the write-ups you were commenting about the impression you got while watching something which is not generic,
Yeah.
and the criticism you gave for something which is generic. It could be different, something like that. I mean, your opinions.
Yeah.
So somehow that ideas got imprinted in mind. Like
That was the
these guys
influence.
are impressed when there is less generic elements in a movie. So that was the point. Like it got into my mind, and when I want to try something, I try to be stay away from generic or template-ish ideas as much as possible. I don't know how much I can succeed, but I try to be away from the generics.
Right. I mean, thank you. But I'll tell you one difference between critics and audience, right? Because critics watch many movies, right? So when something is the same template, after a time you get bored.
Yeah.
Because, okay, hero introduction song, then something else, then
Yeah,
fight.
he's so
then
right.
Song, the romantic heroine introduction. That becomes, after a point, you're like, because now, today you have so many choices, no? It's like, I can watch so many things. And I'm not saying that, you have to make something very complicated. No. But even if you're telling a regular good guy, bad guy story, what is the difference you're bringing to the story?
Yeah.
So it's like, why am
That's
I...
the
See, for
writing
example,
execution.
why am I talking to Bahul Ramesh? Right? Because he has done something specific, not generic. Because he has done Kishkinda Kandam and the feature films Kishkinda Kandam and Echo. So I'm talking to you. If that is the specific thing, right? Why are you celebrated today? Because you did something that is standing out from
Yeah.
what the crowd is. That is why I think we like the
I think I think it's not just critics, but I feel at this point, because so many movies are available to watch for the audience as well. Yes, when it comes to, say, okay, if I know I have to review a film, so I need to watch so many films, right? Because that's the critic's job, right? They have to watch so many films from different regions, different languages. So the exposure to watching content is very, very high, much higher than a regular audience who would just maybe watch a film or two in the weekend, and not every weekend also, right? Because watching films has also become extremely expensive nowadays, and but still the exposure is a lot higher now, like in terms of choices. So even I feel audience crave for something which is a little different in terms of entertainment, because see, templated, if a movie has a following a proper template which we have already known, I say this in so many of my own reactions, is that I feel that this movie is going to follow some particular template, but execution is so freaking important, because that is where the difference of what the director or the writer has done differently comes into play, which is why we love it more than, say, a generic templated film.
generic thing. So that template-ish, if you had written, I'm not saying template is wrong, because at the end of the day, cinema is a business.
Yeah.
So if somebody is casting a big star, they might say, okay, let us play safe. Let us not go with a template or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's, well, if I have played a small part in your thinking like this, I'm very happy. I also want the royalty checks. So that is like a thing. But
Even that whenever a filmmaker takes such an approach, it inspires you a lot. Like filmmakers or even my friends who aspire to be filmmakers or already in films, they when they when they are talking about love stories or romantic movies or rom-com movies, they usually take it as an excuse. Like love stories are always cliche or cheesy.
Yeah.
They find it as an excuse so that they can try in the same way.
Yeah.
But take the case of Love Today, how innovative and creative it was.
Yeah.
That really inspired me.
Oh, the Tamil film, right?
Love Today. That really inspired me. That inspired me that daring call of the director and who acted as well. And he made sure every single second of the movie count to make something unique and innovative.
Right.
He didn't spare even a second. Even if we get a couple of seconds there, he will fill it with some flashy montage or VFX which add to the humor or which add to the plot. So that always inspires me. Whenever someone try, even if it's not successful, whenever try something daringly, that inspires you a lot.
Yeah. I think,
and that in your interviews also, not like your comments on the generic things on your reviews. Apart from that, whenever you do an interview, your questions are not generic.
Yeah, he's
I think that
a very
comes
great
from
interviewer.
Fear, because there's a fear that are you doing something which everybody else is doing?
Yeah.
You know that you don't want to do that. You're just like, will everybody say, oh, this is a boring interview. This is like a thing. And also things that comes from curiosity. Like this next question. Okay, I'm going to give you a scenario. Okay, because both the screenplays. We'll talk mainly about the two films, right? Kishkinda Kandam and Echo. Now, both your screenplays, one of the things that has struck a lot of people is they are minimalistic, right? You're only telling little bits of information and taking the movie forward, and you don't explain fully. A lot of the things you say the character knows, but the audience does not know, or maybe even Bahul Ramesh does not know. Correct? Like at the end of Kishkinda Kandam, did Appu Pillai kill the grandson? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Do you know? You don't know.
About it. Yeah.
Only he knows. Only that character knows.
I only know whatever is in the movie.
It's in the movie. So at the end, it's a mystery. Whether that happened only, it's a mystery. He may have done it. Maybe Asif Ali did it. Maybe you don't know what happened at that thing. You just present around it, right? I'm giving you two scenarios from a story that I think everybody knows. Right? Take Ramayana. There is a part where Dasharatha tells Rama, you have to go to the forest for 14 years. Right?
Yeah.
We'll consider two options. One is Dasharatha tells Rama, go to the forest for 14 years. That is all the audience knows. Rama says, okay, Dad, goes. Second option is like how the story is, which is long back, Kaikeyi got the boon from Dasharatha saying, I will give you whatever you want.
From a context perspective.
Later.
Context versus
but now
no
she's
context.
Scared that the kingdom will go to Rama and not to her son Bharata. So she says, because of this, I want you to send him to the forest. So by giving that backstory, you are establishing Kaikeyi as not exactly a wicked person, but somebody a mother who wants something for her son. You are establishing Dasharatha as a helpless person because he has promised
he's bound by the promise
something and he cannot go back on that promise because he's a king. So there is a emotional connect that the second version has that the first version does not have. Both are valid. Nothing is right or wrong, right? I want you to comment on both these.
I think
such a good question
or dilemma. I also like the second version because it has more dilemmas and conflicts in that.
Right.
That has the flesh, the meat.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's very one-dimensional.
Okay.
So when we have a backstory like this, we have moral conflicts or dilemmas. That makes that makes the whole setup three-dimensional, more backstory, more voids where we can put our own thoughts into and fill it up. So I think I believe that's how the content grows in the audience mind. When we give abstract information, so abstract anecdotes or trivias, people tend to fill it with their own perspectives and visions and all. See, I'm only 32 years old, so when I write something with my intended, I mean, the intention, when someone at the age of 50 watches my movie with all his life experiences, all his perspectives and all, he may have another set of takeaways from the movie. He may have another range of interpretations on the movie. But I think that's how the content can grow more than what I intended to portray or something. I'll give you an example. When I read a novel called Parinamam in Malayalam. Parinam, it's Parinam, written by M.P. Naranapillai. It's my all-time favorite novel and my favorite writer too.
Okay.
So I read it in 2016 or 17 something. And I read it as an espionage thriller, a spy thriller. Like it was very serious, very engaging, and it was written in 1989. And it covered a series of events from early 70s to up to 90s. Okay. So I enjoyed it as a spy thriller, and then I suggested it to my father, and he read it. We were both at home those days, and while he was reading, he was frequently laughing.
Okay.
So I couldn't understand why he's laughing, because I couldn't. Then after reading, he enjoyed it a lot, and I asked, and why were you laughing? And he said it's super sarcastic. It were all, I mean, satire. It was social satire about the politics of that era between 70s and 80s, those emergency period, the politics, the society, and all. So he had an experience of all. He was born in
so he was
1963.
reading it
So
from
he
a
was a
different
first-hand
lens.
witness of all those political turmoils, all those political issues back then. I hadn't have any idea about those things. So I enjoyed the novel as a spy thriller, but my father enjoyed it as a comedy satire, a social satire. So we were both happy in our own ways.
Yeah.
So I think that I mean, you got what I'm trying to communicate.
Everybody looks at it differently. So you want to create screenplays which give breathing space so that I can enter the story and take maybe one dimension from it. Somebody else who's younger than me can enter the story and take one dimension from it.
That's
Somebody
a very
else who's older than me
interesting
can enter that
take.
story and take one dimension from it. Fully agreed, right? And let me tell you where I'm coming from. I really like Kishkinda Kandam and Eco, right? Both are brilliant. Screenplays, both are brilliant, right? But with Kishkinda Kandam, I was emotionally into the whole thing. I felt very connected to the whole thing.
Yeah,
right?
it's like an emotional
In Echo,
thriller.
I felt a little aloof.
Okay.
That's the only difference between the two. But I think both are brilliant screenplays.
Okay.
So I'm interested in knowing your process of writing. So it's like my brain is saying Echo is a very clever movie, very, very cleverly constructed. How this reveal comes now, the reveal about Pius comes now, the reveal about thing, and finally one reveal happens, which a kind of thing. Very clever. But same thing, I'm looking at Kishkinda Kandam, very clever. But in Kishkinda Kandam, when that end happens, I'm like, oh my God, that
you
amazing.
Feel
because
like
it's like kind of a thing. I
you
think
feel
it also
connected to the
helped that
characters.
a
It's
character
very
from
emotional.
within the family was solving the mystery.
Yeah.
Appana Balamurali she was the detective in that the detective equivalent of the story.
Right.
Here, there is that character is not there. The
audiences are the detective.
The audience is the detective. So you are presenting information to us, right? So I think there was a bit of things. I want to ask you one thing. You just said that the second version of that Ramayana that I said, where the Kaikeyi flashback and all is shown, deepens that emotion,
drama,
right?
Yeah.
Supposing now you show the Asif Ali and Aparna Balamurali, they are already married at the beginning of the movie. What if you give a little backstory about how they decided to marry, where they met or whatever it is? I'm not asking for like a long love story, but little more details about, because she's a second wife, she's come to a new family. Maybe we're a little curious. Like when you're traveling in a train, you listen to the person who's talking next to you, not because but it comes to you. You're always curious. Why do you say I don't want to show that backstory?
எதுக்கும் எந்த பேக் ஸ்டோரி நான் டெவலப்பே பண்ணல. Like I just went with the flow, with intuitions. That's the way I used to write. Like I won't try to create a whole story in my mind, or one line or a scene, or nothing will be there. I just start with scene one. From whatever details are available based on conversation or the details in scene one, I move on to scene two, and this process goes on and on. So yeah.
So you don't do scene outline?
No.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I won't have any idea about the story.
Okay.
So
when you started Kishkinda Kandam, sorry to interrupt your flow, sure. But when you start, so because you're saying scene one, what was scene one in Kishkinda Kandam?
Okay, the initial idea of Kishkinda Kandam was, it's about a character, an aged man who is having dementia issues or memory issues, and he's introspective about himself. Like, I know that I have memory issues. What if had I done any mistakes that I forgot? So he set out on a journey to investigate about himself. That was the one-line idea he had in mind. And when I sat down to write, I didn't have any scene in my mind. And it was a couple of weeks back only I got to know from my father that during elections, if we have a firearm with us, we have to surrender to the police station. It's part of the election protocol. That was a trivial piece of information for me. I didn't know about those things.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, that's a curious piece of information. Let me try to add that curious piece of information to the scene. And I started writing scene one in a police station where some random guy come to the police station to surrender the firearm. So I had no idea how to connect this with the main plot. So while developing towards the end, and that random guy goes and when the police officers interact with each other, one guy tells there's one more left in this jurisdiction to surrender his firearm. Who is that? That guy is Apubilla. So that was how Apubilla came to the plot, even that name. So then now the police officers have to contact this Apubilla. Why didn't you surrender the firearm?
Okay.
So the second scene have to be something. So then I thought, okay,
there's this noise coming from outside, if you can hear it. Yeah, I can't help it, guys.
The first scene we talked about Apubilla. Let me not show Apubilla in this scene itself. Let me show someone else. Who can I show? Okay, let me show his son. And where can I place his son right now? So placing him it's a working day, it's a daytime. So placing him in his office is again generic, doesn't add anything to that. So I thought, okay, let me try to add some intrigue. What if he is in middle of his marriage and his father is not part of the event also? So it has to be a registered marriage. So I didn't have any idea why it is placed like that. Why it is a registered marriage? I didn't felt it necessary to develop all those things right then itself. I just went with the flow. So that adds a drama. Right, when they are about to get married, he gets a call from the police station asking about his father, or we are not trying to contact your father. And in that moment itself, he's telling his bride to be, let me answer this call. It's a call from police station. So then that girl also will get nervous. No, what at this moment has happened, like that. So that all adds to this dilemma or conflict or drama in a slight way. So that keep building that layers and building blocks. From that only, I'm also getting
further ideas
or new routes where I can take this narrative.
Very interesting.
So I was telling Manish Narayanan the last day, usually it is written as story, screenplay, dialogues.
Yeah.
My version is I write the dialogues
first.
The conversation lead me to a screenplay structure, and at the end only, even I got to realize, oh, so this is the story. So Kishkinda's climax are all formed at that moment only, during the climax only.
So interesting. So and here, God, this noise is really irritating. Some work is happening. And in our heads, because the story is so well curated and so well written that, because when you hear it from the writer's mouth, you're like, oh, that's how it's developed. Because we are thinking how the plot would have developed. It would have been thought before, the structure and everything, and then the dialogues would have come in picture, right? But here is the total opposite. Like, this is a shock for me, to be very honest.
Because I won't focus. I won't aim at creating suspenses or twists or shocks, I just want to create enough dilemmas or conflicts. So in the last 15 minutes of Kishkinda Kandam, the plot is already unraveled. Like the father is going through these kind of issues, and son had this tragedy and all. So when Asif Ali went to the hospital with his first wife, and when he's come back, no, the plot is already all exposed.
Right.
Then I was thinking, now what can I add more? How can I go a little furthermore? So that was when I thought, okay, let him open the door, and boom, the body is not there. So what should he do now? Whom should he ask? And even if he have to ask his father, what exactly should he ask? How to phrase that? It's a
Yeah.
weird and absurd question of a lifetime. How can somebody ask
Absolutely.
something? Did you find my son's dead body? It's such a weird question. So
Yeah.
he can't ask that. And also, provided his father, he knows that his father is having these dementia issues and all, and he might be thinking, what if my father doesn't know about it, or even if he knew and then now he
Forgotten.
forgot it totally.
Yeah.
So if I go to ask him now, he will get aware of it. So what stand should I take? How to deal with this situation? It's such a bizarre situation. All those dilemmas I like to try it out.
This is beautiful because what you're saying, if I'm understanding this right, is just like the audience does not know the story or cannot predict the story, you as a writer, even you cannot, you don't have an end goal. So you don't know, as you're writing, you only know what is happening at that moment.
Yeah.
You don't know what is happening like five
My
scenes.
fun is in that, to discover where this narrative is heading,
Yeah.
where this narrative is going.
Yeah.
And whenever I want to take a break, I take a break. Take a break in the sense, when I was writing Kerala Crime Files Season 2, I wrote a few scenes with the police station premises and the buildings and all. And I thought, okay, I have been dealing with these interior scenes a lot. Okay, let me take a break, let me go out. That's how I had a scene with somebody washing his car in a stream-like area, like more trees and all.
Yes.
So that was evidently I was taking a break.
Okay.
So whenever in Kerala Crime Files, the story is set across multiple districts,
Yeah.
Trivandrum, Ernakulam and all. So I had 5 or 6 scenes continuously in Trivandrum. I will take a break. Okay, let me go somewhere else. Okay, let's go to Kochi. So that comes first.
Okay.
And then I wrote Kochi evening 5 p.m. And then I start thinking, okay, what can happen in Kochi right now?
Okay.
So it's very spontaneous, intuition driven. And
So he's a very
I feel
intuitive kind
confident
of writer.
to follow the intuitions.
Yeah.
Like even if it's not,
That's a
I'm
very
not bothered
interesting
about it's good
process.
or bad, just to follow the fun, not to be bothered about how it is going to be received or something. That we can correct it later. No?
Yeah.
So right now on the go,
Just
enjoy
go
the
with the
process.
flow and
Just
then
try
you can
whatever
tweak
you
it.
want.
Okay.
And this okay, you haven't watched Kerala Crime Files. No, there is one. Maybe some of the viewers might have watched.
Yeah, please.
Yes, I have to
There is
watch
one
the
scene in the
final
fourth episode
episode.
where it's a reverse tracking sequence.
Oh,
called
my
it that way.
favorite scene. With
It's
the
like
dog.
the police officers are tracking a stray dog.
Oh,
Where that stray dog came from.
it has to be the best directed scene, and I was raving about that whole sequence when I had watched. Like I reacted to that. Fantastic.
So that idea, my writing process is like it's like an office duty. I sit down to write at 10 a.m. and wind up by 5 p.m.
That's every day.
That's every day. And continuous only. I won't take break and all. I will be at home only.
You'll take a lunch break or something.
Lunch break. My parents will come to call me. So 5 p.m. I will take a break. And then that particular sequence, I slept. Okay. And at somewhere around 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., this idea struck me. And immediately at that moment, I thought, what if, நாளைக்கு காலையில இருந்துச்சுன்னா, suppose what if I forget this. So அது மறந்துறதுக்கு முன்னே I wanted to put it down on the paper. So I sat down, I took up the laptop and typed the entire scene. That's how that sequence was formed, and that was one of the most talked about sequence of that entire
It's the highlight scene.
And that's how it came up.
Really well done.
Actually, I would like to connect it to something which I'm a big A.R. Rahman fan. And I think in your own interview only, he said like cracking an idea at the off times, 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. At that time, we'll be in a fire to record that immediately. And if we packed our bags and okay, we will record it tomorrow. And tomorrow is another day, another passion, another vibe. The vibrations are different. The same idea might not look good or impressive. So, suppose or idea execute panna, maybe everything will manifest. So, even this story also, in Echo also, that happened. My process is like when I finish the first half, up to interval, I give it to my father to read.
Okay.
I won't have an idea about the second half also. So after he finished reading, I will ask him, where do you think this narrative would go, and what all can you guess? And he will say a few things. I will list it down, and I make sure I won't follow any of them. That I did in Kishkinda also. And
because then it becomes the predictable plot line.
The interval block finishes with a mystery about a character's death, no? So he was having a guess that this character will be killed by this character. So I wanted to stay away from that guess. So that's how the Mohan's character got such a death. There's one character who dies in the first 10 minutes of the second half, no?
Okay.
So the factors which led to
so
his
these
death,
are like little spoilers that I'm gonna get.
I wanted to surprise my dad. So that's how that decision came up.
Yeah. No, so you're saying you use your dad like an audience.
Like an AI prediction.
Yeah. So
he'll be working on these guesses based on the algorithms he have in mind. He watched a lot of movies. He was a huge cinephile.
Yeah.
He used to watch multiple movies in 80s when 2 or 3 movies released on a Friday.
So I mean, if you have watched me, you know how much guesswork I love to do. Bahul, I'm open to reading stories. I love reading. And if you want to share the first half of the story with me, I will also share my guesses because that's what I love to do when I watch trailers. So, just FYI.
He watches all 3 in that one day. So he was that kind of a cinephile. Now even after retirement also he used to watch 2 or 3 movies in TV. So he has that algorithm in mind. Frequent cinema goer, movie watcher. So his guesses will be mostly along that traditional line or convenient line or something which we are more got used to watching. So if I can beat him...
But I won't do that. I won't do that. But I have been guessing so much while watching Kerala Crime Files. Now I have to watch the final episode and I'll make a reaction for it. So I've been doing all unconventional guesses. I don't know how much of it will come true when I watch the final episode.
No, my intention was just to surprise him because he is my first reader.
You're
always.
correct. Yeah.
And my wife is a second reader and my brother is also there. So my initial intention is always to surprise them, or at least to give them a good enough reading experience. Even if they didn't like it or not, I tried to make sure they enjoy the reading process. That's how I write.
Nice. So what was the one thought before that formed Echo?
There's this line in Echo, sometimes protection and restriction, they both look the same.
Yeah.
That was the line which came to my mind. I don't know how and why, but that line hit me so randomly.
You didn't read it somewhere, nothing.
No. Just out of the blue.
Okay.
And then I got fascinated by the idea that it has fascinated by the range of ideologies or concepts or ironies that line can suggest. And simultaneously an imagery of guarding dogs came to my mind.
Okay.
And I thought, what if protection setup with guarding dogs was something else? Was not like what we had thought.
Right.
Simply put, what if something which appears to be A was not actually A, it was B.
Right.
So that was the idea I had in mind. I didn't have any plot or no Kuriyachen, no Malatichar, nothing I had. I just went on to write the scene 1.
Scene 1 is what now?
Scene 1 now is the Lodge.
Yeah. It starts with the
See, now these are little spoilers.
Is
journey, not the destination.
The journey. It's the journey, not the destination. Yeah. You said there is a bag like that, or there's a...
No, I didn't write that. That is a contribution of my friend Jobin John Varghese. He's an associate director.
Okay.
He used to work with me in Kerala Crime Files also. So it was his idea. We had planned this shot, and it was the shot was also his idea.
Okay.
We didn't have the first shot for the movie. We had only 2 days in the lodge, and even on the second day we couldn't come up with an idea for the first shot of the movie. We had the second shot where this character Ashok and Raputi come to the reception. But what can be the first shot? Then this guy Joby, he came up with the idea. We are anyway showing this Mohan Potan's character as a adventure enthusiast or a traveler or something. So what if we can show his artifacts or his boots, his luggages, and all something moving along that line? Then I built on that, and that shot which he designed, I mean, which he said that takes a little bit of time. When the jib moves in that particular lens, it takes a bit of time. So we have to keep the shot engaging with newer elements. So towards the end, we added the Mohan Botan's hand comes to my mind. So that adds in a layer of engagement. And towards the end, we have the jeep entering. And so the initial first 10 seconds or 8 seconds, we didn't have much engagement. It was all luggages on boots. So I thought, what if we can come up with a nice quote or something which can reflect the essence of the whole movie, that can add something. So that was my demand, and Joby came up with this quote: "Bahul, try what about this?" He said, "Journey,
Very
not the
interesting.
destination." I felt it very apt. I said, "Thank you," and gave it to the art department. Just stencil it out, and all. That's how the idea came up.
Lovely. I also thought that shot, for those, in case those who don't know, you are the writer and the cinematographer. So just to clarify that. But I also thought that shot was very interesting because, it shows a man who is, that mystery is established right away because the cigarette, he looks out of those barred windows. There's some kind of a weirdness about it. There's a restriction to his movement. He's not really moving about his room or something like that. You could have shown him, walking, like when he's smoking, he's pacing about or something, but he's very, looking very close. So there's some restriction even there. I thought that was very, it was giving me a kind of a feel, a mood. I don't know how to explain it, but it was kind of there. So, yeah.
That's one thing. I have huge fascination for staging. That's I'm more fascinated about, rather than shooting beauty frames or perfect compositions or perfect light up. I'm more interested in this mise scene, the staging, the blocking, where the camera moves. How can the same shot become the close, the wide and mid and long in the same shot itself, like how Spielberg used to do. We couldn't do something like that, but that's the aspirations I was telling. So in most of the staging was like that only. We never prefer good frame and all. We whatever feel right for the narrative to take it forward and to make it least obvious in the sense of the staging. Whenever someone start shot division or start planning about a shot, we tend to think in a way, okay, let me go with the master shot. We'll place the character A and B on either sides of the frame, then we go into the cuts and all. So that basic kind of approach, I never wanted to try that.
You don't want the generic approach.
So
Here also he doesn't want generic
approach.
approach.
An individuality or an identity. At least we had to try for it, even if we not succeed or not, we have to try for it. That was the whole approach in every scene, every stagings. So even with dogs also, I wanted it to be more spontaneous and candid, not like it's staged. This is the position. The dog has to come here. The frame will be like this.
Okay.
More than that, if we can communicate in a feel like it's happening for real, it's so candid. It adds to the mise en scene like that. Most of the time we try to show the dogs in relation to something else. Like even towards the end, okay, I will give you an example. Towards the end, when one character opens his bag and takes out a property and he senses something in the bag, and then he look back. So we can cut it into 2 or 3 shots, like he is showing him, then him looking back, and then now showing an insert of what he was looking at.
Okay. Yeah.
So all this
That's
will
like 3
appear
frames.
more staged and designed. So that was not the approach which I wanted. I wanted it to show in the same shot. Okay, he's sensing something and he reacting. Then the same shot,
he's looking back and it's focusing on the
other person.
Yeah.
So that adds also. So that communicates something. So for the previous 10 or 12 seconds, the characters, the dogs were there. So that approach may add to more authenticity, more detailing and all. And even in the Malaysian flashback sequence, there is one shot when the dog comes with the fish in that vessel, and the same shot itself operate to reveal the other two characters, the
Yeah,
couple.
yeah,
I
yeah,
have no
yeah.
idea which
So we
scenes
could
are
have
these.
shot that with
I will wait for
a
the OTT
beautiful
release.
insert shot of the dogs only when the dog
But I'll
comes in.
remember it now because I'm hearing about these scenes. So when I watch the film, those things I'll get reminded of this interview basically.
The fish and all. But when we are trying to do this happens more. This feels more real. I feel so. Don't know how the audience felt.
It feels real. That's what I'm saying. So when in that first scene you are showing, the camera goes and shows a number of props, and then you see the character and the cigarette, and it's like those bars. She's looking outside. Now the same thing you could have cut from the outside and shown Ashokan's point of view or something. No, but you stay only inside, right? It's almost like every character is operating in only their area. That kind of reflects to me your approach also. I'm not saying that this is I'm just giving you a possible reading. Like every character is kind of, they only, and then when you choose to reveal it, does the whole picture come into the thing.
That adds a level of intrigue. I feel like since we are not showing this guy's face, people can think, who could be this guy?
Yeah.
Why is he watching at Aputi's character?
Yeah.
So that level of intrigue we earned.
Yeah.
So for the next 20 seconds, that can be our like
Okay, like suspense
that
or
hook line,
something. Yeah,
suspense
yeah,
or something.
yeah.
And when the same character opens the door and he behaves like, oh, you're Aputi, that he's faking, no?
Yeah.
He has already seen him through the window.
Yeah.
Those layers of nuance layers may add up to something.
Yeah.
And also even while that guy, Aputi, the actor Ashokan's character, before knocking the door, he just checks his watch and makes sure it's 8 a.m. Then knock the door. So that adds a layer to his characterization also. So once they open the door, it's all about Mohan Botan.
Yeah.
So we can't give space to Aputi.
Yeah.
So before opening the door,
Very
we
interesting
wanted to
takes.
give some texture to this character.
Yeah.
Like
And this
every
was the-
shot, because when I'm listening to this, I'm thinking, okay, because it's not just writing, because he's also the cinematographer. He's thinking from a staging perspective as well, like how the camera is going to move and how the perspectives change, because when you are cutting to a different frame, you are changing the POV in a way, right? And which is why it always is a very different feeling when there are too many jump cuts in a scene, in one particular staging scene, or if the camera is continuously moving with the character. It definitely makes a difference. But it also, see, both could work, but it depends on what you want to show. And since he's the writer and he's only the cinematographer, I'm sure there is a much bigger clarity on how he wants the scene to go, in like in a particular way, from which character's POV, from which from which frame he wants to show it. Does he want it to look claustrophobic? Does he want a wide angle shot? So it's very interesting.
shortest way. It doesn't take much time to give this layer. No, you just have to check his watch and then couple of seconds only. So that adds something to the character.
Okay. So you start with this idea. You write scene 1, then you write scene 2, and then you write scene 3. You reach the interval. Then post interval, you start thing. But the mind is not always like that, right? Because when you are writing maybe scene 3, sometimes the mind will jump and give you an idea for scene 15. Correct? How do you handle that situation? Because you want to discover bit by bit, but you can't control your mind, right? Because the minute you have a character, you might think, oh, this guy has come. Now that character appeared in scene 1. What about something like this? And you can. So how do you handle that where you want to go scene by scene, but your mind sometimes takes you to
A different scenario.
maybe the end, or maybe the interval, or maybe something in the second half? How do you do that? Handle that?
I try to control myself. Like I won't note it. Even if some ideas like that come to my mind, I won't note it down.
Oh,
I won't note it down. I just keep it in my mind. because the problem with noting it down is like then we will start
Thinking about it.
trying to drive our narrative towards that point.
Yeah.
So I may miss so many other more potential, more beneficiary routes along the way. I will be. That's why I don't used to write one line or scene order. So once you found a whole story or a one line or scene order, then I feel it's more like a clerical job, like meeting
And
the
then you have to
points,
meet.
reaching there, reaching
Yeah.
the next point, reaching the next point, and finishing the story like that. We
Such
are
an
just trying to fill
interesting
in the gaps
take
and all. So
in
that
writing.
impulsive decisions that may, or the impulsive ideas which may
He's more of
come
an
randomly
intuitive
out of the
writer.
blue, we may miss all that.
Lovely.
Yeah, so I'll just keep it in my mind and we'll go with my flow only. Even when I find a chance to incorporate that idea, okay, I had an idea uh, then and find an opportunity. Okay, right now, okay, I can fuse that idea in this scene. Then I will make use of that.
Yeah.
But I go back and forth. Like I won't do multiple drafts with the script. I write mostly the first draft only. I do it very strictly and make sure the first draft is almost the final draft. Of course, we'll do trimming and all very closer to the shoot. And after the location recce and all, we'll try to fit into the locations we found and all, and the trimming part and all. But mostly the essence, the content, the scene, the story, the drama, dilemma, everything will be the first draft itself. So because that's a problem with my process. Like it's I keep on building these stepping stones. So I'm climbing on that and moving further. So when when rewriting in another draft, I won't have that objective. Like, okay, I may feel okay, let's take out this scene, but it may spoil the progression of the narrative it had, because when I'm going in order, I'm stepping on this second stone, and then I am climbing to the third step. So when I take off the second step, I'm jumping from 1 to 3. So in between, we may miss some nuance or some dialogue context or something.
Very
That feels
interesting.
like a missing. And
sorry,
I was explaining this back and forth thing. Now I will give you an example. We have this post-woman girl in our movie Echo, and I wrote two.
another spoiler.
Okay, I wrote the first scene where Sandeep's character get to the post office to collect the money order. So later Naren's character they went to the PWD guest house, they have a conversation. And after that PWD scene, I wanted a scene where Sandeep's character explained all those experiences to Ashokan's character, the Aputi's character. And then I started thinking, where can I place this scene? And I don't want it to be a generic placement in some tea shops or something. So I thought, okay, already we have put a set for post office. And I have written only just one scene in that comes up to only 3 or 4 hours of shoot. So what if I can add one more scene to that day? So we'll have a good enough scenes to complete in one day. So that's how I placed that scene in that post office. So we had 2 post office scenes with, including that girl. And during and in the second half, there's one scene where Naren's character goes to Aputi's character, there is Ashoka's house, and those intimidation sequence and all. And then I needed Ashokan's wife's and daughter's character there to react. And I didn't want someone so randomly and so new to the story at that point of time. I wanted it to look more coherent altogether. So instead of introducing some new characters, I thought, why can't I include someone who I've already introduced in the movie? Then I thought, okay, I have this post office girl, which had 2 scenes in the first half. Okay, then I thought, okay, let me make her Ashokan's daughter, and went back to the post office scene. I add couple of dialogues in those scenes to make sure they are father
There's a
and
connect.
daughter.
So because that
this is
scene
an
was
example,
already
this back
written.
and forth work
Okay, lovely.
I
Yeah.
used to do.
Okay, no, this is great. And of course, there is no one way to write a screenplay. Everybody has a different way. So, but this is fascinating. So, you write one draft, halfway through, you give it to people who are close to you.
Not halfway through, only to my father.
Only father, wife, you said, brother.
Only after finishing the script.
Oh, okay.
Halfway through, I only give to my father.
Right. Halfway through, you give it to your father, and you use him like AI, whatever you said, to make sure that, okay, dad is predicting option A, option B, option C, option D. So I should avoid all those options and go to option E.
Yeah.
That is the process,
That's
right?
the process.
Now, supposing now you've done only 2 feature films, so it's a little. I don't know if I can ask you this question, but did he say, "I want this," or "Why don't you add this?" Something like that?
That's the good thing about my dad, and that's exactly why I don't share my ideas with anyone before writing. I won't share any idea or thought. I finish writing the script, then only I give it to anyone to read. Because the problem is that either when I narrate a thought or a story to you, you can say 2 things. Either you can say it's not good, try something else. Then I will get demotivated. Okay, I will that can happen, because that can happen sometimes, like maybe my narration wasn't good enough, or you perceived it something else in your mind. Maybe the original content was intended when we write and all, it could be something else which you yourself will like that.
Yeah.
So that will be condition A. I mean, you negate it, you say no, this is not good. And the second condition may be you suggest a lot of ideas to me.
Yeah.
You can go this way, you can try that. Have you watched this movie? In this movie, the story is like that. All those explanations, no? This may corrupt the originally indigenous way the narrative might have gone if I didn't have any chat with anyone. So that's one thing. That's one
I like
reason I
how
want.
I also like the way he's so. See, one, that he's an intuitive writer. He There is a process that he works for him, and he wants to follow that. And I like how he's so confident. I wouldn't say overconfident. Like, he's so sure of his process that he says that I want to be as authentic as possible to my original thought. So I really do not want any other opinion. I only the first half I'm only going to give it to my father, so that I can negate all the obvious possibilities that how the story could go. I feel it's a very structured. I mean, one would say, yeah, he's writing with intuition, but I feel that overall, if you see, it's a very structured approach. Like, the way he has compartmentalized everything, one draft. It's like I just make changes like on one draft. Like, that he's so sure that my first draft should be like my final draft should be as close to the first draft that I am actually penning down.
I don't used to share to anyone. And the good thing about my dad is that he won't say all these things. One, he won't say, he won't say this is bad. He will just wait. He will say anyway, good. He is very generous in that way.
Yeah.
And also he won't suggest these ideas also. He will just read and he say his opinion. Oh, it's good. It's interesting. I'm eager to know what's happening next. That's the only response he will say. Then I have to ask him,
What
where
do
do
you
you think the
think?
story might go?
Yeah.
And he will answer to that question only.
Okay.
So there is no, I'm not seeking for his validation at that point. Like, did you like it?
Yeah.
Should I write more, or should I go to the second half, or just skip it right now? I won't ask that question. He won't respond in that way also. So that's the good thing about my dad.
So it's beautiful. So for you, screenwriting is almost like an experiment. Correct?
Fun.
Fun. Meaning, but it's a trial that you're conducting in order to see where it goes. How is this thing going to go forward? It's like a mystery that you yourself are trying to solve.
Yeah.
Yes, somewhat like that. And the biggest advantage is that since I don't have any commitment to anyone, I'm writing it for time pass, for my self pleasure.
Yeah.
So if I pitch this idea to someone and he asks me, okay, develop into a script, then I am bound by an obligation.
Right.
I have to make it impressive. I have to impress him. So this process, I am just casual, just like how our kids used to draw things or paint something or write a poem or something and show it off. The pleasure is just have to see our reaction to that. That's how my daughter, she's 3 years old now, she is doing right now. She just paint it in whatever way she likes. She's not bothered about is it right or wrong. She paints the banana in pink color and all. And if we say no, paint it in yellow, she won't listen. No, banana is in pink. I liked it that way. So she's following his intuition. She's having fun with that. So that kind of innocence make you happy while you're doing some process.
Yeah.
And we are not bound by obligation. That takes a lot of pressure off
That
themselves.
pink banana is a beautiful
Even,
example.
pink banana. Even independent musicians or painters or artists or novel writers, they are not bound by. They are just trying to express their art. They are trying to do artistic expressions, taking their creative liberty.
Yeah.
And they are not bound by or obliged to do or follow mandatory formulas.
Yeah.
That's why even music composers who are very prolific in doing movies, once in a while go out and do some independent musics, no? So they want to vent out something, express something,
Freedom
even if
is a
it didn't
beautiful
perform
thing.
well or not. We are not bothered. Like I want to express something in my mind.
Yeah.
So that kind of approach, that's a kind of innocent approach.
Yeah.
That's fun to do.
So when you finish the screenplay,
Huh.
you don't seek, like some people do, they'll give it to 5 friends, 6 friends, then you don't do that at all.
No, only these. My father, my wife, my brother, and there's also one friend who is also an associate director. Abhijit, his name is Abhijit. These are the 4 panel I have.
So you have fixed your panel. You will not give it to, let's say I ask you for it and say, let me give you an opinion. You will not give it to me.
No.
Right. So you, because these are the 4 people you want to, kind of a thing.
Yeah. And the guy I mentioned earlier, the Jobin John
Sure.
Varghese, no?
Like,
but I met him much later.
Yeah, but
now he's also my confidential.
So like that word is lovely, panel, because you have a specific panel that these are the people I trust with my screenplay, and I'm only going to use the same panel for every movie.
Yeah, and the advantage is that even if they criticize with something, I'm not obliged to accept that criticism.
Yeah.
Okay, I will take whatever I want. I will have that discretion meter.
Okay,
let me take this. Let me listen to him. Okay, let me ignore that. That discretion I can take, and they are also not offended by that.
He is in control of his own.
That's how I found that panel.
He's not bound by any.
Fantastic. Now,
contract.
I mentioned as a viewer, I want to know some things, right? Because that is the nature of storytelling. Like I meet you, I want to know more about you. I'm asking you these questions because I want to know more about how Bahul Ramesh writes, right? If you did not, if you just say, I sit down, I write, and then 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock I sit down, and then I go for lunch, and then at 5 o'clock I stop writing, then there's no interest because I don't know how you're writing. Now you're beautifully explaining how the process happens.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is I know who you are now little bit, right? The reason I ask is when I see Kishkinda Kandam and there is no little backstory about how Aparna met Asif, right? Again, I'm not saying there should be, right? I'm saying you choose this approach.
Yeah.
Similarly, there is a scene in Eco.
Okay,
where,
let me add to that. You continue, please.
Yeah.
It tried to give some abstract information based on that.
Sure.
Like when
this is the phone call.
Phone call is there, and also when Asif's character asks on the first night of their marriage, he's embarrassed with whatever happened on that day.
Yeah.
And he's saying, "Mashak endu vicharichaanna," like, oh, what all good master would have thought. So he's calling Aparna's father as master, Mash.
Yeah.
So that dialogue nuance can add.
Okay,
Asif Ali's character may be familiar, maybe her father, maybe someone known to.
Yeah, maybe
Asif
like
Ali.
he was a teacher or something like that.
So those kind of informations and also some dialogues like the next morning, Aparna used to. When she listened to the Northeast folk song, she says, "Okay, I used to do volunteer some trips to Delhi and Northeast and all. That's how I'm used to the Northeast."
Yeah.
So that adds some layers to the character.
Yeah.
And later in the office scene, his colleagues are adding details about Aparna's character.
Yeah.
She used to do this in Bangalore. She mastered in the social working or something, and then she did
it's via
theatre
dialogue. You don't have to
all.
show it.
So little abstract piece of information where the audience can put it together and form an image of Aparna in whatever they wish to see her.
Yeah.
So when you reach that office scene and you're writing that office scene, where Aparna is not there,
हाँ
your mind says, okay, this is an excuse. This here I can give a little more information about
हाँ
that character.
हाँ.
Is that how you work?
No. The purpose of the office scene was like to in that office scene, some breaking news has to come.
Yeah.
So that was only the purpose of that scene.
Yeah.
So before that breaking news has to come, the office scene has to have some meat, no?
Some life. Yeah.
Some life, and and I didn't want it to be some generic. Did you send that file? Did sir call
That
you?
always happens. Right? Like, oh, is the project ready? Something like that. So.
Yeah, so I was looking for something which may add some details either to the plot or to any of the characters.
Yeah.
So I found it a
And
good
it's such an interesting thing how you use that time. Say if the office scene is say 20-second or a 1-minute shot, and the main purpose is that a breaking news is happening in that shot, that's like couple of seconds. How are you using that remaining space to, what is the dialogue that you're going to add that adds either value to the plot, or it actually gives you more context about a character, so that it does not become like a filler scene. We don't need filler dialogue. So that's a very thoughtful thing. Like, writers probably, I mean, he's thinking of that. As a writer, he's saying that, okay, I have not shown their backstory, how they met, how they got married, this and that, but I can give some character context via dialogues without showing it. It saves, I mean, it just works in a way, right? If we've done right, it just works. That's very nice.
to add some more meat to Abarna's character.
Yeah.
And made use of that 30 seconds which I had before breaking the news about the gunfire in Kalyapati Reserve Forest.
Lovely. Similarly, there is a bit about in Eco where there is a character who has the semi-porn magazines and also writes erotic stories.
What happened?
Now that is there for just one scene. Okay, two scenes. Because that office scene where you reveal this aspect, because we don't know what he's writing. At that scene, you divide into two. That is, in that scene, we see the magazines and we see that person is writing something. But you're thinking, what is he writing? Then at the post office, he tells the girl that I also write erotic stories.
It's for pocket money.
Pocket money, whatever it is. How does this help the character?
I had already 3 scenes before writing that scene where he writes the porn stories. By then I had already 3 or 4 scenes with this character of Pius. So when I wanted to write the 4th scene, another scene, I wanted something which can add to that character. So to make him more naive or to make him a bit unpredictable. So, and also at that time I wanted to stage him in his own space only. So he won't have anyone to interact also. So whatever layer I wish to add, he had to do it himself.
Yeah.
So then this idea came to my mind. That's how it happened.
Okay.
Yeah. For every 3 or 4 scenes I used to do that. Like for example, with Naren's character. Similarly, I wrote 3 or 4 scenes with Naren's character. He was very gentle, soft-spoken and all. And then I moved to the 5th scene where he and that Papachan's character, the retired ASC's character, they travel in a car before that accident. And in that sequence, I needed one more extra layer to this character, this Naren. So I didn't want to show him the exact space like he used to behave in the previous 4 scenes. So that when I decided to add a rift, kind of a verbal rift between these two, like when Papachan questions about his motives or intentions and he blocks that in his own style, like mind the borders in between, don't come up with these questions to me, I'm not whom you think me are, like that. And that adds to his character.
It'll be very interesting when
he
I
has
watch
another
this
side
movie.
also.
I'll remember
Till
all
then
this.
he had only one dimension, a soft-spoken, gentle guy.
Right.
Now it is giving glimpse that okay, he may have a rustic, raw side also, more evilish, sinister side also. And that adds to Naren's character. And then if the listener's character, the Papachan's character, if he responds by saying, "Oh, sorry, sir," it doesn't add anything.
Yeah.
That character is dormant. He will be there only. So then I thought, let me make Papachan's character also interesting. Then he replied with, I don't want your bribe and all. Like, don't trying to boast me. Like he's showing his self-respect. I have my own intention.
Yeah.
And I just got along with you since you are to the same direction.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm your slave or your assistant or
Yeah.
anything. So mind your words also, mind your approach also. And that adds to Papachan's character. And when Naren listens to that, he's not offended by that. He smiles. That adds another dimension to also. Because when somebody offends in a good way, he like, okay, I like you. I like your
Respect.
self-respect. You're interesting, man.
Yeah.
like that. That's how I keep on doing that for every
He
characters.
likes to be
Like
unpredictable.
for example,
I feel with Bahul, what I've understood him as a writer is that because when he said he, after first half, he gives the script to his father and then he eliminates all the possibilities that his father is giving him, oh, option A, option B. And here also, when he's doing the character writing, it's not like there is a very permanent sketch of a particular character in his head, because he is, as he's writing it, he's like, how can I make this character more interesting, how can I make this character more interesting in the way that audience thinks it's okay, he's a soft spoken guy, but let me make him say this so that it becomes more unpredictable. And we are like, oh, we didn't expect this character to say these kind of things. So I feel that he likes to add that element of unpredictability as he goes along everywhere. Like, he wants to eliminate all the obvious possibilities of a storytelling or a character design for that matter.
Mohan Botan's character, we show him. We start by the lodge scene. We show him on the first time in the lodge. So he's very sophisticated kind of body language and the choice of words and all. So we have one or two scenes like that. And when they set out on the jeep with Aputi to the cartoon area, then he used particular 2-3 particular words which are not politically appropriate, like the word, I can say it on YouTube, something along the line of female dog, some colloquial term in Malayalam which describes a female dog, but it's not politically appropriate. So
Okay.
that choice of words can add to his character. Like, oh, okay, he's not that sophisticated, classy guy whom we thought about him. He
as
can
audience.
be thorough local also. And he may not be politically correct. He may have evil intentions also. So these kind of details I try to add with every character.
Getting a
Most of the
call.
characters, I try to for every 3 or 4 scenes.
Getting a
Finally,
call. I need to.
we talk about Kuriach.
Okay, I need to pause my recording because something has come up, but I don't know if it is fate or what. But the video is like, I've reacted to 1 hour of the video and almost another hour is left. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow. And I was telling, we'll see if I want to post it in 2 parts. So I will now have to post it in 2 parts. So consider this as the reaction of part 1. This is very, very interesting because I myself do not react to many writer interviews, and this perspective is just amazing. And it's a really, really interesting conversation, and I really want to see. There is 1 more hour left of this conversation. So yes, I will have to sign off, unfortunately, because something has come up. So I am gonna sign off. I hope you have enjoyed this much of the video, this portion of the video, and I will see you soon on part 2. Bye.